Hey everybody, Dirk here at GC Blues 45. Now, folks, I'm terribly sorry for no video of last night. Um, when I got home, I pretty much fell asleep and stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a combined video. I'm going to do last night's games and today's games combined post-game report for today and tomorrow, or last night and today. Because I didn't know pre-game report because I was pretty much doing whatever today and stuff. So you're going to get a post-game report for today's games, and you're going to get tomorrow's pre-game report because there's a lot of early games. There's really no late games tomorrow. Let's actually double check that. Before we do anything, let's double check. Okay. All right, tomorrow's games. 12:30 Eastern, 1:30 Eastern, 1 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Eastern, 3:30 Eastern, 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and nightcap at 7. Yeah, there's really no hockey all day tomorrow. So, and there's 10 games on dock tomorrow. So, yeah. Alright, so let's get right into this. Now, remember, folks, if you haven't come across this video and happen to like it, give me that thumbs up, doodle. It's very important. Helps out the channel. Helps me out a lot, too. And if you have not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe icon and check out. I got 122 subscribers, folks. I like more. Also, tell your friends about me. Tell them, hey, there's this guy in Granite City, Illinois, in the St. Louis area that does an NHL report. He might root for your team. Tell them, hey, check out my channel. Okay. So here we go. Starting off with the LA Kings at the Boston Bruins. Entering this matchup, the LA was 25-16 and 10 and 60 points. Boston was 32-12 and 10 and 74 points. At the end of 60 minutes, this game was tied 4-4. And LA wins in overtime by a score of 5-4. Shots on goal were Kings 35, the Bruins 32. The Kings had 28 saves with the Bruins 30. LA was 1 for 2 on the power play with the Bruins 1 for 4 on the power play. Well, the Bruins have now 75 points. Are they are part of the teams that are in the top of the Atlantic Division. But LA, they're creeping up too, so anything can happen, folks. But now I got OTL. I'm 0-1 after one game. Now, this next game, who I picked. The next game is Edmonton at Dallas. Entering the matchup, Edmonton was 31-18 and 1 and 63 points. Dallas 34-14 and 6 and 74 points. I picked Edmonton. And this game also went into overtime after a tie after regulation, and the Oilers win by a score of 4-3. 1-1-0, 1-1-0. And so here we go. Shots on goal were Oilers 24, the Stars 27. The Oilers had 24 saves with the Stars 20. And Edmonton was 1 for 4 in the power play with Detroit 2 for 3 on the power play. Well, the Stars picked up their 75th point. But folks, there's another team creeping up on the Stars. And Edmonton, they're doing good too. With that 16-game winning streak that he had, they really boosted them up. So they're pretty much in contention, folks. So anything can happen. Next, Ottawa at Chicago. Entering the matchup, Ottawa was 22, 26, and 2 and 46 points. Chicago was 14, 37, and 3 and 31 points. And at the end of 60 minutes, as you know, I chose Ottawa. Oh, excuse me. Ottawa loses by a score of 2 to by a score of 2 to 3. You can tell how much I hate the Blackhawks. Okay. Keep it down, DP. Keep it down. Keep it down. Keep it down, DP. Shots on goal were 42 for the Hawks. Sens 22 for the Hawks, 42 for the Sens. Chicago had the Hawks had 40 saves with the Sens 19. Chicago had 0 for 1 on the power play. And the Sens were, and Ottawa was 1 for 2 on the power play. Chicago has 33 points, but I think they're going to be the first team mathematically out of it in the Central Division. I think I'm feeling better. By the way, if you really want to know, I didn't really puke. There's no puke on the ground at all. I just hate Chicago. Okay, I really hate them. You know who my love's for. By the way, if you like that performance, comment. Comment. Next was Detroit at Calgary. Entering the matchup, Detroit was 27, 20, and 6 and 60 points. Calgary was 25, 24, and 5 and 55 points. And at the end of 60 minutes, the Detroit Red Wings beat the Calgary Flames by a score of 5 to nothing. They shut them out. They clobbered them. They beat their butts. Shots on goal were the Wings 21, the Flames 38. The Wings had 38 saves with the Flames 16. Detroit was 2 for 5 on the power play with Calgary 0 for 5 on the power play. 62nd point for Detroit. They're doing pretty good in the Atlantic Division, folks. They're one of the teams that are in contention, but, you know, every point's crucial at this point, folks. See, folks, we're at the point now, since we're past the All-Star break, that every point is now crucial to get. And the more points you can get in this streak or around this time, the higher and higher you can go, or the lower and lower and lower you can go to where you're out. And you are now eligible for the first pick in the draft. And Calgary, they probably might be out in the Pacific Division coming up. But the first team will be later on. Down the road, I'll tell you who that team is. But right now, let's finish this up. Next, by the way, I'm now 1, 2, and 1. Out of 4 games. I'm 1, 2, and 1. Can I prove this record? Next was Buffalo and Minnesota. Entering the matchup, Buffalo was 23, 26, and 4 and 50 points. Minnesota was 25, 23, and 5 and 35 points. 55 points. This game had to go in overtime. It was tied after regulation, 2-2. Did anything happen? Yes, the Buffalo scored, and they win by score of 3-2. Shots on goal were Sabres 28, Wild 32. Sabres had 30 saves with the Wild 25. Buffalo was 0 for 3 on the power play with Minnesota 1 for 4 on the power play. Now the Wild picked up a point. They're got 56 now, but Buffalo picked up a point too, and they're crawling their way in the Atlantic Division. But can they do it? Do they still got time to come back? We'll wait and see. Next was the game I was at. The Blues at the Preds in St. Louis. And let me tell you something. Before I give you the stats and stuff, the Blues just did not have it. Literally, the Blues weren't even trying. They were passing the puck to people that were not there. They were just not even trying at all. They just flat out gave up. And the penalty shot that happened, Neighbors didn't even try. He was like, yeah. What in the world was that? The game was nothing but crap. And I'm not going to really say the word because I know there are probably kids that watch my channel. I say my videos are not for kids. I'm keeping my comments clean. That's why I'm saying crap. But you should see me at the game where I said, this is... I'm not going to say it, but if you guys were there and you heard me say it, you know I was correct. So let's get into the stats. Entering the matchup, Nashville was 27, 25, and 2 and 56 points. St. Louis 29, 22, and 2 and 60 points. And at the end of 60 minutes, the Preds beat the Blues by a score of 5-2. Shots on goal, Preds 33, the Blues 37. The Preds had 35 saves with the Blues 28, and both teams were 1 for 4 on the power play. Predators are right here. We're here. We need to get our butts in gear. We need to keep the Preds here. Because right now we're here. And also, let me tell you something. We got the playoff spot. They don't. And we have another day like that. This is going to happen. Yeah. And we don't want that to happen. So now on 2, 3, and 1. Do I prove this? Next was the Battle of Florida. The Panthers versus the Lightning. Entering the matchup, Florida was 35, 15, and 4 and 74 points. The Tampa Bay Lightning 30, 20, and 5 and 65 points. At the end of 60 minutes, folks, the Panthers beat the butts off the Lightning. I mean, they beat them up. They clobbered them. I meant they were their worst nightmares by a score of 9-2. 9-2. Shots on goal, both teams had 30. The Panthers had 28 saves. The Lightning 21. Florida was 3 for 4 on the power play, with Tampa Bay 1 for 4 on the power play. Florida is in the lead in the Atlantic Division with 76 points. They're really doing good. Tampa is right there too. They're one of the top 3 teams, folks. Anything can happen. Now 2, 4, and 1. This has to improve. Next, Washington at Montreal. Into the matchup, Washington was 23, 21, and 8 and 54 points. Montreal 22, 24, and 8 and 52 points. In the end of 60 minutes, the Caps beat Montreal by a score of 4-2. See, folks, now look, you see You see those blue dots? Those were my picks. Okay? So you know who I picked in every game. All right? Yeah. So, here we go. Caps had 34 saves, the Habs 31. The Caps had 28 saves with the Canadians 30. Washington was 1 for 3 on the power play with Montreal 1 for 3 on the power play. 1 for 1 on the power play was the Caps or Washington, and Montreal was 1 for 3 on the power play. 56 point for the Caps as they are climbing up the Metropolitan Division. Anything can happen. Next was Anaheim at Toronto. Enter the matchup. Anaheim was 1932 and 2 and 40 points. Toronto 28, 16 and 8 and 64 points. And at the end of 16 minutes, the Maple Leafs beat the Ducks by a score of 9-2. They flat out beat them. And folks, when I looked at the box scores, at the end of 2 periods, it was 8-1. 8-1. I mean, literally, it was 8-2. After it was 8-2 after 2 periods. You know, they need a mercy rule in hockey. Shots on goal, the Leafs 32, the Ducks 21. The Leafs had 19 saves with the Ducks 23. Toronto was 4 for 5 on the power play with Anaheim 1 for 3 on the power play. 66 points for Toronto. They're one of the teams one of the top teams in the Atlantic Division. Anything can happen. Next, the first game of the Stadium Series last night. Philadelphia at New Jersey at the MetLife Stadium. Entering the matchup, Philadelphia was 29, 19 and 7 and 65 points. And New Jersey was 27, 22 and 4 and 58 points. And at the end of 16 minutes, New Jersey just clobbered the Flyers by a score of 6-3. Shots on goal, the Devils 40, the Flyers 48. The Devils have 45 saves with the Flyers 34. New Jersey was 0 for 5 on the power play with Philly 1 for 3 on the power play. 60 a point for the Devils as they are doing great. But when my friend Andy, when he was watching a little bit of the game too, when I was I was looking at the monitor watching it, I told him, "Hey, New Jersey just scored and stuff." He's like, "Yeah, yeah, go Devils! I love the Devils too." I'm like, "Yeah, then why are you wearing a Blues jersey?" I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. He also likes the Blues too, but he has to have another team, and I have other teams too. I do root for a mix of teams, so. Next was Winnipeg and Vancouver. Entering the matchup, Winnipeg was 32, 14 and 5 and 69 points. Vancouver 37, 12 and 6 and 80 points. And at the end of 60 minutes, the Winnipeg Jets beat the Vancouver Canucks by a score of 4-2. Shots on goal, Jets 28, Canucks 37. The Jets had 35 saves with the Canucks 24. Winnipeg was 2 for 4 on the power play with Vancouver 0 for 4 on the power play. Now Vancouver's still in the lead in the Pacific Division. They got 80 points. Winnipeg has 71. They're still in the driving force at the 3rd seed right now. But anything can happen, folks. Next was Columbus at San Jose. Entering the matchup, Columbus 16, 26 and 10 and 42 points. San Jose 15, 33 and 5 and 35 points. At the end of 60 minutes, the Columbus Blue Jackets beat the San Jose Sharks by a score of 4-3. Shots on goal were the Blue Jackets 41, Sharks 31. The Jackets had 28 saves with the Sharks 37. Columbus was 0 for 3 on power play with San Jose 1 for 4 on power play. Folks, if the Sharks don't be winning and Vancouver wins at least or gets a total of 10 points in the next few days, the Sharks will be mathematically out of it. Literally, they will be. So we'll wait and see. And I think technically the Sharks will be the first team mathematically out. And finally, Carolina at Vegas. Entering the matchup, Carolina was 31-17-5 and 67 points. Vegas 31-16-6 and 68 points. And at the end of 60 minutes, the Kings beat the Knights by a score of by 3-1, giving my 7th win. And overall for the Knights, 7-5-1. Yes, 7-5-1. Shots on goal. So I knew the Kings will win the back-to-back. Called that right. Shots on goal were the Kings 28, the Knights 30. The Kings had 29 saves with the Knights 25. The Knights did not give no power plays to the Kings. So Carolina had no power plays. But the Canes did go to the penalty box. But the Canes killed off both penalties, and Vegas went 0 for 2 on the power play. So the Canes get their 69th point. They're inching up too. They're part of the teams that are hot in the Metropolitan Division. Knights are one of the teams hot in the Pacific. So, okay, folks, I'm going to take a break real fast. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Now, folks, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give you the post-game report for the 3 games tonight and tell you what I thought and possibility what could be. And also, there were really no late games tonight. They were all early games, so that's why I really did no pregame report today. So we got 2 postgame reports for yesterday and today, or should we say the 17th and 18th, and I'll give you a pregame report for tomorrow's games or games later today. So here we go. Second game of the Stadium Series between the Battle of New York at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, between the New York Rangers and the New York Islanders. The Rangers were 35-16-3 and 73 points. The Islanders were 22-18-13 and 57 points. Folks, this game was tied at the end of 60 minutes. 5-5. Who won? Now, folks, let me tell you something. I saw the clip. The net went off the moorings, but the Ranger player was in motion of shooting, and the puck went past the line where the goal would have been. Now, there is a rule that states the game has to be stopped if the net moved. This was not the case, but they made an exception with the rule if a player was still in motion of shooting and the net goes loose, and it was done by the defense on intentionally or not, it still counts. And unfortunately, it still counted, and the Rangers win by a score of 6-5. So there's going to be probably a protest on this, and they'll probably change the rule. We don't know, but I think the Islanders might get a case out of this. Who knows? Shots on goal: the Rangers 38, the Isles 41. Rangers had 36 saves with the Islanders 32. The Rangers were 3 for 5 on the power play, with the Islanders 2 for 2 on the power play. So the Islanders pick up their 58th point, but the Rangers are still in the lead in the Metropolitan Division. They got 75 points now. But anything can happen, folks. And I think pretty much Islanders might be one of those teams that are going to be like, we're going to be looking in and be watching the playoffs from home this year. Next, Arizona at Colorado. Entering the matchup, Arizona was 25, 23, 25, and 4 and 50 points. Colorado 33, 18 and 4 and 70 points. Now, folks, you know how much I hate Colorado, so you know I'll be rooting for Arizona. And at the end of 60 minutes, the Avs beat the Coyotes by a score of 4-3. Shots on goal were 37 for the Avs, Coyotes 30. The Avs had 27 saves with the Coyotes 33. Colorado was 0 for 4 in the power play with Arizona 1 for 6. Now, if I look at Dallas once again, Colorado's in second place now. They're still in second place. So, if the Avs want to do this, they got to win more. And they got to hope the Stars lose more. So, we'll wait and see. But, folks, it's still a long season. Anything can happen. The Blues are still technically in it. So, who knows? And finally, LA at Pittsburgh. Entering the matchup, LA was 26, 16, and 10 and 62 points. Pittsburgh 24, 20, and 7, 55 points. And also, this was Jaromir Jagr Day, where the Jaromir Jagr got his number retired by the Pens. And I'm also tell you something. This guy's still playing, but he's playing overseas. He's no longer really active in the NHL. And he's still playing overseas. This guy loves playing. He's in his 50s. He's looking pretty good. I tell you. He still got the last step in his prep. You know, he's looking good. You know, he's really looking good for someone his age. But I think he needs to retire. So the Caps can retire his number, and any other team he was with needs to retire that number. All right, let's get to the stats. Oh, by the way, the final score was 2-1. The the Kings beat the Pens by a score of 2-1. Shots on goal were the Kings 33, the Pens 30. Kings had 29 saves with the Pens 31. Kings 0 for 3 on the power play, and the Pens 1 for 5 on the power play. 64 points for the Kings as they are doing good. They're looking good. And so, yeah, and also the Kings are one of the top teams in the Pacific, so you never know. All right, folks, I'll be right back, and we'll get into games for today on the 19th. Okay, let's grab my trusty blue pen. Okay, now the games tomorrow are really, um, let's say, different because they go all the way to um, 7 o'clock. So there's really no late game tonight. So let's get right into it. Starting off with Anaheim at Buffalo. Entering this matchup, Anaheim is 1933 and 2 and 40 points. Buffalo is 24, 26 and 4 and 52 points. And Buffalo is currently the favorites at minus 192 to a plus 160. Of course, you know the money line could change. And I will go Buffalo. And you can watch this game on MSG Buffalo, Bally Sports San Diego, and Bally Sports SoCal. Next is Dallas at Boston. Currently, Dallas is 34-14-7 and 75 points. Boston is 32-12-11 and 75 points also. And Boston is the favorite at minus 130 to plus 110. I'm going Boston. Yeah, hot. How about some Dalton? Hey, how about some Munchkins? Yeah, dude. Yeah. Hey, J-Lo. Hey, how you doing, girl? Hey, say hi to Ben. Boston accent. Oh, by the way, the Anaheim and Buffalo is at 12:30 Eastern. That'll be 11 o'clock, 11:30 my time. This will be noon Central. So the games I'm telling you, the times are Eastern. So if you live in the Mountain Time Zone, 12:30, 11:30, 10:30, 9:30, 8:30 Alaskan, 7:30 Hawaiian. Yeah. So Boston's at noon Eastern, noon Central, 1 Eastern. And you can watch this game on Bally Sports Southwest and NESN, New England Sports Network, your official home of sports in Boston. Next are the Blues at home. That's right, my Blues. The Blues at home against the Maple Leafs. Toronto and St. Louis. Excuse me. I got like a frog in my throat, so I'm sorry. It's been a nagging cough. Currently, Montreal is 29, 16, 8, and 66 points. The Blues are 29, 33, and 2, and 60 points. Folks, you know me by now. You know I will not go against the Blues. I am sorry. I will never work against the Blues. Um, the Blues are my team, so you know I'll go for the Blues. And you can watch this on ESPN. This will be on ESPN. Next is Vancouver and Minnesota. And by the way, the Blues are the underdogs, a plus 136 to minus 162. I'm going for the Blues no matter what. Even if they're favorites, I'm going for the Blues. Next is Vancouver and Minnesota. Entering the matchup, Vancouver is 37, 13, and 6 and 80 points. Minnesota 25, 23, and 6 and 56 points. You know I'm going for the favorites, which is Vancouver at minus 118 to minus. Ooh! Folks, if I can let you see my screen, Minnesota is a minus 102. Vancouver is a minus 118. So it looks like Minnesota's the favorites. But I'm going Vancouver because Minnesota are division rivals and I like to see them stay where they're at. And you can watch this game on Valley Sports North, Valley Sports Wisconsin, and TSN3, and also check Sportsnet, folks. If TSN is not having the game, check Sportsnet up in there in Vancouver. And also check TVAS, TVA Sports. All right, next game. By the way, that game, Vancouver at Minnesota, and the Blue. By the way, the Blues game is at 1 Eastern. Vancouver, Minnesota is at 2 Eastern. At 3:30 Eastern, it's Detroit at Seattle. Currently, Detroit is 28, 20, and 6 and 62 points. Seattle is 23, 21, and 10 and 56 points. Seattle is the favorites at a minus 130 to a plus 110. And I'm going Seattle. And you can watch this game on ESPN. It could also be on Sportsnet later. But check up there. Check up there, folks. Next at 4 o'clock Eastern, it's Edmonton at Arizona. Currently, the Edmonton Oilers are 32, 18, and 1 and 65 points. Arizona is 23, 27, and 4 and 50 points. And Edmonton's the favorites at minus 265 to a plus 215. And I'm going Edmonton. And you can watch this on Scripps and Sportsnet Oilers or City TV. Check City TV up there. And also check TVA Sports. Could be up there. And remember Scripps, Arizona. Winnipeg at Calgary is next, also at 4 o'clock Eastern. Winnipeg currently is 33, 14, and 5 and 71 points. Calgary is 25, 25, and 5 and 55 points. Winnipeg is the favorites at a minus 130 to a plus 110. And Winnipeg are division rivals, so and Winnipeg is above us. You know what? I'm going Flames. I'll go for the underdog on this one. First time I'm going for the underdogs. And you can watch this on Sportsnet West and TSN 3. It can also be up in Sportsnet and other areas, but Sportsnet West for Calgary, and for you people in Winnipeg, TSN 3. But of course, Sportsnet can be up there too. So, and also check Sportsnet 360 could be on that too. So don't tell them. And also at 4 o'clock Eastern, it's the Vegas Golden Knights at San Jose. Currently, the Knights are 31, 17, and 6 and 68 points. San Jose is 15, 34, and 5 and 35 points. And I'm going Knights. I think the Knights can do it. And the Knights are the favorites at a minus 270 to a plus 220. And yeah, I think they can do it. You can watch this game on NBC Sports California and Scripps Vegas. Also, at 7 o'clock Eastern, Chicago at Carolina. Entering the matchup, Chicago is 15, 37, and 3 and 33 points. Carolina 32, 17, and 5 and 69 points. Well, you know me, I'm not rooting for Chicago even if they pay me to. And Carolina is the favorites at minus 440 to plus 340. So you know who's going to win pretty much. And you can watch this game on NBC Sports Chicago and Bally Sports South. And finally, at 7 Eastern, it's Ottawa at Tampa Bay. Currently, Ottawa is 22, 27, and 2 and 46 points. Tampa is 30, 21, and 5 and 65 points. And Tampa are the favorites at minus 155 to plus 130. I am going Tampa. Let you see my sheet. See those blue dots on who I'm going for. And that is it. Oh, and by the way, you can watch this game on TSN 5 and RDS and the NHL Network and Bally Sports Sun. Well, that's it, folks. One of the longest videos I ever done. So, as always, folks, please stay safe. Take care. Remember, the Lord's watching you. Enjoy the games today. If you've got any questions, ask them. I'll be pleased to answer them. And I'll see you guys later tonight for the post-game report. Until then, peace.